So welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto Liberty City stories. In this part, we will be completing the Car-azy car giveaway, which is a bit of a passive activity that we have going on here, and it is a requirement to complete this activity in order to get your percentage points for 100%. And the reason why I say it's a passive activity is because you don't necessarily need to complete this activity right away. You can chip away at it gradually if you want to, whatever your preference may be, as long as at some point you turn in all the vehicles that are required to be turned in to that garage for this activity to get your percentage points. So the way in which you activate doing this activity, though, is by entering the eye icon that's located right outside of that garage in Bedford Point that we saw at the beginning of this part. And what the eye icon does is not only activate the activity, but it also gives you some information, hence the eye. And the information is basically just telling you that Love Media Corporation owns that garage, and as well as the adjacent building, actually, to that garage, which makes sense, but the reason why I'm pointing it out is because you actually go to that building in Grand Theft Auto 3 to do missions for Donald Love in that game, so I think that's pretty cool, because I like the callbacks that they have in this game, in which you go back to locations that you had to go to in Grand Theft Auto 3 for a variety of different reasons, like with the Love Media building, and with a good handful of those payphones that you have to go to during the street races in this game, which were places that you would go to do mission strands in Grand Theft Auto 3. So just the whole concept of callbacks, it really tingles the toes there. It's fantastic stuff. But anyways, so the way that you know which vehicles you have to turn into that garage in Bedford Point is by the game giving you a list of those vehicles that's located right next to the garage. So it's a very straightforward and mostly easy task. I say it like that because there are situations where you try looking for a vehicle and it just won't spawn in, even if you do go to its parked location, because there are some of these vehicles that can only be found at parked locations, like with the BF Injection, the Hellenbach GT, the Hearse, and the Thunder Rod. I believe those are the only 4 vehicles that require you to go to a park location. So it can be annoying because sometimes you'll go to the park location and then the car just won't be there. So you'll have to drive away and then come back, and sometimes it still won't be there. So you drive away and come back. Maybe you switch cars that you're using to drive back and forth between, I guess, the spawn location of a vehicle you're trying to get to spawn and like 5 miles away before you start driving back again. So it can be a little annoying if your luck isn't exactly in tip-top shape that day. So that's something to kind of watch out for. But for the most part, most of these vehicles, you don't even need to go to the park locations because they're so common to find on the streets, like with the Banshee, the Faggio, the Freeway, the Landstalker, Manana. There's a few of those vehicles that don't really require you to go out of your way to a park location, but sometimes it's not the worst idea to just go to a park location because you don't have to worry about the RNG of finding the vehicle on the street, which can potentially take a very long time to do because of the way that the mechanics of the game, or really any Grand Theft Auto game, works in the way of spawning vehicles that are driving around on the street, because the game will usually just spawn in like vehicles or similar vehicles to whatever you're driving. Like, if you're driving around in a Banshee, then you're just going to see a bunch of other Banshees on the streets, as well as a few other sports vehicles that can potentially pop up, and even like bikes and stuff too can pop up. So you kind of got to play around with that sometimes too if you're having trouble in finding one of these vehicles. But for the most part, I really didn't find this to be too problematic. So it's just one of those things that is just kind of mindless, time-consuming, but easy to do. So it's not that big of a deal having to do it. So yeah, good stuff there. And I gotta say, that little parked area, or parking lot area, right behind Kenji's Casino there in Torrington, is just a fantastic spot because there's like 5 different vehicles for that list that are all just parked there most of the time anyways. Sometimes you'll have to drive away and come back to get the proper vehicles to spawn back in, but I swear, man, this place is like a gold mine for this activity. So, I like that they have a location like this that's relatively nearby to that garage, but Yeah, anyways, though, this nice little V8 Ghost is the last vehicle that we need to turn in. So, this is the process of turning it in, which I decided not to show me turning in all the different vehicles, because it's like, well, I'm sure people can figure out how to turn in a vehicle. You just drive up to the garage and park it inside, and then you walk out, and then, that's it. And also shout-outs to the, lovers there on the street, whatever they were doing by the sidewalk in front of the garage. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I guess they glitched out or something, because they just wouldn't despawn, so, I don't know, it's a little funny thing going on there. Some people, fighting over a quarter or whatever's going on, but anyways, your reward, besides the percentage points for completing this garage, is the PCJ spawn and a V8 Ghost spawn right next to your Staten Island safe house. So good stuff. And that completes this part. In the next part, we will be collecting the 100 hidden packages in this game. So until then, I will see you next time.